And this is Agneta.
This is Benny.
This is Bjorn.
And this is Annie Fried.
And this is ABBA. Now, for three of the members of ABBA, your parents played a particularly big part in your early careers. Agneta, how did your parents help you?
My father was in the business, and he wrote some material for local reviews, you know. And I started very early.
Yeah, about the age of 5.
To play piano at age 5, yes.
Yeah. What about you, Bjorn? Your mother was pretty strong pushing behind you, wasn't she?
No, not my mother, really. It was my father. He played the mandolin, played these old Swedish songs. And at the time, I didn't particularly like it, but there was music every now and then in the house. When I was about 11, they bought me a guitar, and I joined a skiffle group. But you're right, my mother played a big part in my career later on because she urged the group that I was in at that time to participate in a sort of opportunity knocks thing, which we did, and in which we turned out to be the winners. The Hootenanny Singers.
That was a funny thing because I participated in the same...
Same competition, yeah.
And where did you come?
I don't know. I didn't win, at least.
Yeah, coming to you, Anna Fried, your grandmother was a great help to you.
And I remember when I was 10 years old, you know, she didn't have money to do it, actually, she did it. And a lot of people around me to sing, you know, in the school choir and, yeah, things like that.
Yeah, did your grandmother live to see you enjoy the success that you've got today?
The beginning of it, yes. But she died 9 years ago, so...
So she saw the beginning of the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Benny, coming to you, your family had a long musical tradition, didn't they?
Yes, they very, very much they influenced me to go into music. They played, my father and my grandfather played the accordion. And they bought me one when I was 6 years old and taught me how to play it. And we played together, the three of us. The whole summer, you know, out there in the Swedish archipelago, we had a little cottage. And I had a piano when I was 10. And just continued to play because I enjoyed it very much. And I also enjoyed listening to music very early. So they really played a very, very big part of my being here.
Yes, ABBA once again, that time from the album Voulez-Vous. Now, Bjorn and Benny, you're an unlikely combination of personalities, I think, and certainly an unlikely combination of musical backgrounds. It's strange that the two of you came together and made such a success of music.
Well, that's right, but I was in a folk group really by coincidence, because at that time in the high schools, there were groups like that, you know, the Kingston Trio type of thing. But really, from the minute the Beatles started, I wanted to be more in the pop business than in the folk business.
Yeah. And Benny, we say yours was a rock group, the Hep Stars. It was a pretty heavy rock group, wasn't it?
Indeed, yes. The most popular group in Sweden for 3 or 4 years.
So were you influenced also, like Bjorn, by the Beatles?
Yes, and also from, well, the old-time rock and roll thing, you know, Little Richard and Chuck Berry and all that. But I was like Bjorn very much into... the thing with us is that we like the same kind of music, even though we have different roots and also. But what made us write together was that we were aiming for the same style, same type of music.
And that helps because you're different personalities, aren't you? Obviously, you're totally different sorts of people. Does that pose problems in writing music? Do you have terrible rows sometimes and Bjorn pulling one way and Benny the other way?
No, never.
No.
We might not agree upon everything. I might like one part of the song or so, and Bjorn might not like it. So then what we do is we aim for music that we both feel is the right thing.
No more carefree laughter. Knowing me, knowing you, it's the best I can do.
That track by ABBA from the LP Arrival, Knowing Me, Knowing You. Now, Benny and Bjorn, do you both write music? You're both musically literate in that sense, are you?
None of us.
None?
Read or write music. Those
Yeah.
little black dots.
That's right.
No,
No, we don't. No.
Very, very little.
But surely you were taught, I mean, you mentioned the piano playing as a child.
Never, no. I'm totally, what do you call it? Well, I'm self-taught. There's a word for it.
Yeah, so how does the music happen then? What do you do? You get in the studio, you fiddle around on the piano, various
No, not in the studio. We write, you know, at my house or Benny's house usually. Sometimes we go away to places like Bahamas, places like that. But we sit down with the piano and the guitar and play around, you know, with chords and rhythms. Just, you know, see what happens.
So Agneta and Anna-Frid, they come into the scene a little bit later then?
Yes.
On average, it must be very difficult to say, on average, how long does it take for you to write a song?
That's impossible to answer. Sometimes, you know, it takes you a week and there's no song at all, or 2 weeks. And sometimes it takes 4 hours and there is almost a complete song there. Let's say, add it all together, it takes us a year, or has taken us a year for each album. And then you have to consider we travel a little, you know, little promotional tours over here and there. But I'd say it takes a year.
After 6 years of the group, you had a tremendous hit in Japan, didn't you, with a song called She's My Kind of Girl. How did that happen, Bjorn?
Oh, we really don't know how it happened, but all of a sudden we got telexes from Japan saying that, this is getting bigger and bigger, it's a huge hit. And at that time it was just incredible for us because we'd never had a hit outside Sweden before. And so many records sold, we thought we were millionaires.
Yes. That's what we thought.
It proved to be absolutely wrong. But it sold something like 300,000-400,000, I think.
Well, that's a funny thing with that record, because that was the first we ever did together, wasn't it? She's My Kind of Girl.
And we're going to listen to it right now. Okay, the song that made ABBA Japanese millionaires.
Yes.
She's My Kind of Girl. Now, Bjorn and Agneta, when did the two of you first meet?
Well, we met on a TV program in a little town on the west coast of Sweden.
I think it was 69.
Yes.
I mean, you were tied up with the Hootenanny singers, presumably.
No, I think I was going solo, or I didn't know what to do at that time. But Agneta was, you know, heavy solo artist.
I composed my own songs and was very high up in the Swedish charts.
And your wedding in 1971, I was reading somewhere, it very nearly didn't take place. The priest had some objections. Is that right, or is it apocryphal?
No, it's right.
That's
it really
absolutely
happened.
true.
Björn was calling him, and he didn't know us. And then he asked us what kind of occupation we had. And Björn said that we were artists. And then the priest said, are you
Atheist.
Atheist. Because, you know, it's very similar in Swedish.
In Swedish, it's almost the same.
Then he said, no, I can't.
Nothing to do with it.
No.
And over those years, subsequently to 1971, such phenomenal success that you enjoyed, it must put a terrible strain on any individual, let alone a marriage in a group. It must be almost intolerable sometimes, isn't it?
Well, I know what you're referring to now. But the fact is, I don't think it has anything to do with us being part of ABBA. I mean, the divorce.
It has obviously made things easier between the two of you. I mean, you're laughing and joking here.
Oh, yeah.
Happier than many a married couple.
Yeah, right. I think we're happier than we were before, anyway.
It feels much better now.
Yeah.
Benny and Anna-Frid. Now, the two of you said I do in 1978, but you'd been, how should we say, been rehearsing for quite some time before that, hadn't you? When did you first come together?
Nice way to put it.
Yes, we met in the same year as Björn and Anna. But we started to go together in 1969.
Frida borrowed my flat. I went to Paris to see an old friend of mine. So I said, Frida can have my flat for a week. And she never moved out.
Yes, I did, but you wanted me to come back again.
Oh, yes. That's the way it is.
And you've both got children, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes.
How old are they?
Mine are 12 and 16 years old.
I have a son who's 16 and a daughter who is 14.
Yeah, so say the two 16-year-olds. I mean, what do they think of ABBA? Are they the number one fans of ABBA?
No, not. They have never been, I should say, because my son is listening to heavy rock music, you know, and I think our daughter likes ABBA, but she's listened to other stuff as well, like Donna Summer, you know, and things like that.
Yeah. The sad thing, the dark side of it, must be the fact that you don't get enough time to see the children.
Yes, we do.
You do?
Yeah, people think that we are touring all the time, but in fact we are not touring that much. So we spend most of the time at home, you know, and recording in our studio in Stockholm. And
do the children, the older ones, do they ever go on tour with you?
When we can, we bring them along because it's fun for us and it's also fun for them to see parts of the world they haven't seen before. I think they enjoy that very much.
Yes, ABBA, going to sing you My Love Song. Benny, there's a quote from Stig Anderson, your manager, that I came across, and he said that Benny is a musician and not a player. He plays with his heart.
That's very kind of him.
Is it true, that?
that's very true, yes.
You would agree, would you?
Yeah, I would, definitely.
What do you think he meant by that?
Possibly that he knows that what we're doing is, I mean, it's really honest, and not what many people would think, that there is a formula or there is a calculation behind. It's not. It's just a matter of that Björn and I write the music that we enjoy most. And I guess that must be one of the parts of our success.
When you're not writing, when you're sitting relaxing at home of an evening, what sort of music do you like listening to? Do you listen to ABBA LPs?
No, I don't. I listen to our recordings when we're working with them. But as soon as it's completed, I just play the new record for my friends and see what they think, and then it's over and done with. But I listen to a lot of music. I am a Stevie Wonder fan, and I play a lot of music. I'd rather sit down and play the piano than listening to music.
You're very fond of
Nowadays.
classical music too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fond of all kinds of good music, there's no limits really.
Because I mentioned that because one of the most interesting ABBA numbers, for me anyway, is a thing called Intermezzo Number 1. What's the story behind that, Benny?
I don't know if there's a story behind it. It's just, the normal thing. We sit down, Björn and I, and we play around a little. And sometimes it comes up.
The girl with the golden hair.
Yeah, what was the story behind it? Was it anything to do with Agneta, is what I'm getting about, the girl with the golden hair?
No, it didn't. It was very, very... Well, it did in a way, because it was, in a way, vaguely a story about the girls. It was, a little success story, very simple one, about what happens when you have success and the way you dream of success in the beginning and the way it turns out to be.
Let's listen to those 3 little scenes from that mini musical then. The girl with the golden hair.
So I say thank you for the music.
From the mini musical that we're unlikely to see the whole version of. Now, if we come back to the United Kingdom, 1976, apart from the year you won the Eurovision in 74, 1976 was probably your biggest year, wasn't it, in the United Kingdom? That was the kind of big breakthrough year.
Yeah, 76, that was when Mamma Mia and SOS and all these,
yeah.
So after that success in 76, did you find that the British press warmed towards you? They had been a little cool, putting you down for a
No,
while.
not really. They still thought that it was, this commercial hit machine.
They still do, don't they?
They still do.
Some of them do, yes.
Yeah.
But I think when they say that we continue to just do what we like, and when they all understand that, they do now, I think, in Sweden. After many years, they start to realize that we're doing it not for them, but for ourselves. And to tell you the truth, I haven't really followed what has been written in the English papers, apart from a couple of clips coming over here.
It's also, the audience that buys the record, it's like telling them that they're not mature enough, that they don't know what they're buying, and they're buying something coming out of a calculated hit machine. I think that's terrible.
One of the big hit songs from 76 that we were talking about before was Dancing Queen. There was a kind of rumour at the time that was dedicated to the young Queen Sylvia. Is that true?
In a way, maybe you could say it was, because we were invited to perform the evening before the marriage. Then we thought that the Dancing Queen was very suitable for that occasion. But Benny and Björn had written it long before.
Yeah, it was complete. We didn't write it for her, but we performed it for her for the first time.
Okay, we'll listen to it now. And Anne Fried, Agneta, Benny and Björn, thank you for the past 60 minutes. This has been ABBA.
With a bit of rock music, every bad.
For the past hour, you've been listening to Agnetha, Bjorn, Benny and Annie Fried talking to Ray Moore. This is ABBA was produced by Stuart Hobday. The executive producer was Steve Allen. And you can hear the third Bank Holiday ABBA special on Monday, August the 25th. And Dancing Queen brings the time here on Radio 2 to 1 o'clock.